Yes, peoples. Welcome back to the TheStockroom podcast. I'm joined by the Mandem in a very different location.
Mm-hmm. We're inside, but we're outside.
Yeah, we're underground. If you've seen Top Boy, then we're there. We're literally underground. But we're joined by today London Sneaker School. Woo!
Come on. Serious.
Before we get into that, Michael, how are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good. It's been a busy day. I've been lugging around luggage. But you know what? We're here.
Guys, if you see what we've done to get everything here today.
Man. Just thank God we exist and we work for you guys, you know.
Can you imagine?
We do this for the love of the game.
Yeah, bro. I'm good, you know. I'm alright, you know. I'm working. Work stress is here. Try to kill me today.
So
I survived. Praise
God.
the creator. Crazy.
And London Sneaker School, chat to me. How have you guys been? What's the day been like for you?
Good, busy. We've got deadlines coming up.
Okay.
serious.
So yeah, thank you for making the trip down here.
No,
it
thank
saved
you.
us a commute.
Yeah,
we've been looking forward to this. So
Nah, literally same.
So we have got Jase and Ish from London Sneaker School in the cut. London Sneaker School in the cut.
Yeah.
LSS for sure.
So guys, like
Let's do LSS.
yeah, let's just
Because that's better. I'm gonna get modelled.
Hey, so what brought about this concept for you guys? Why did you start? I guess.
So it started in lockdown actually. So me and Thomas, who's not here, but he's based in the workshop as well.
Big up Thomas.
Yeah, shout out Thomas. We started during lockdown, and Thomas actually taught me how to make shoes like a long time ago now. I want to say like 8 years. And we just decided to. He was running traditional shoemaking courses, and I was actually freelancing for Nike via an ad agency. So I was doing the design work for them, and we just decided, well, why don't we just do the teaching bit, but for the shoes that people want or the trainers that people want, and that's really how it was born.
Fair. And Ish, how did you come into the fold?
I happen to have done one of the LSS courses. It's coming up to like almost 3 years, two years in, and then I just ended up joining the team and been great ever since. Still, very grateful to be a part, and we're just pushing heavy as we can.
I hear it, man.
Makes sense. But before you did the course, I know you were working in footwear, like doing your own sort of thing. Can you talk about that? What were you doing?
So before I joined LSS, I was just a customizer. I was doing that from 2016 until joining just after lockdown. So I think I would say like 6 months after lockdown, so like that November. I must have, it was actually after my birthday, like 2 weeks after my birthday, I just happened to got offered the course, and once I've done it, like customizing is a thing that I've always been connected to, sneakers, footwear, design, colorways. That's always been like kind of my mindset. I was really focused on it. Just thinking, one day I'll just be like the biggest London customizer or something.
Yeah.
But I never saw shoemaking as a thing until I obviously done the course. Once I done my first course, it changed my perspective to like everything, because the way I can explain it to you is I used to see customizing as me being able to like create a facade within your eyes to believe that this leather Air Force is now like matte, so it looks like a suede. Do you know what I mean?
Really?
But then coming into the workshop and being able to actually touch the suede as a flat leather when you open up the skin, and being able to just cut it and picking like different materials, my head was pan.
Open your eyes.
Yeah, 100%. Put a lot little works in there. Yeah, 100%.
I wanted to quickly, as it's in front of us, get into this shoe on the table. Can you explain this shoe to us, like how you made it? And this looks like how many different materials are on that shoe?
Bro, this is the NSS.
Yeah, that was to celebrate our pop-up on Savile Road where I met you guys actually for the first time last summer. We spent 3 months there, and each material was from a tailor on Savile Road. We took their offcuts, we upcycled it into this, which is a fully bespoke pair. So what that means is we've taken the original sole from a Dunk, we've reconstructed the upper from scratch. And it's like really doing uppercut. It's like doing a custom in the most complete way. Yeah. If that makes sense. And this Ish made this one, so shout out to Ish.
This I would say is like one of the pinnacles for my making skills. This is when I actually well, before that, I obviously believed in what I was doing, but being able to work with materials that are not made for shoes and the whole shoe is made out of that.
Oh, yeah.
There's barely any leather in there in terms of, like, we just picked the swoosh and the moustache, I would say, like the pattern that you already see, the yellow, that's the only bits that you see leather. And the rest is just like having to back up materials, obviously a bit of trial and error, because those materials are like, it's very thin, like it's like suit material, like it's a fabric. But
So you got
everything is
reinforcement.
possible. Yeah, there's reinforcements in there. There's we had to back it. Yeah, but it's an interesting project still. I really enjoyed it.
What's the inner lining made out of?
That's nappa. That's
Okay.
nappa. So like it's a thinner leather than your usual like upper leather.
Okay.
And yeah, we use that for all our shoes. We don't, trainers, mostly sneakers are designed to be for sports, for basketball, running. So they're designed to be thrown away quite quickly if you're using them for what they were designed for.
Right.
And it's also a much cheaper option. But if you're looking at a bespoke shoe that costs what it should cost, then you want it to be lined with leather or just last longer, and you can repair it. And
Fair.
yeah, that's the line.
Out of interest,
Mm.
did you use a Panda Dunk as your base?
Can you remember?
I don't think it was a panda.
It could have been.
Could have been a panda, but
Probably.
Because I'm just looking at the base on that. That looks a bit
Yeah.
familiar. But you know what? There's a lot of black-based dunks, so it could be anything.
especially now
I
that-
wouldn't be surprised because they're easy to get.
Yeah,
Yeah.
super easy to get. Yeah.
Whatever was on sale.
Like that's basically.
But coming off of the shoe on the table, let's go to our shoes on foot. Michael,
Go on.
do you want to start off?
All right, cool. Today I'm in a humble collab. I'm in a pair of Pata 991 V2s.
Mine's
Pata
pattern
New Balance.
head to toe.
Hey man, we're patterned up today.
Yeah.
Pata New Balance 991 V2s. As I said last year, I really enjoyed the 991 V2s a lot. Very comfortable. And the pack collab was cool as well. So yeah man, got these on foot today. That's the vibe.
Makes sense.
For me, I'm wearing the. This always happens. I'm wearing the.
It's okay. You're
Union.
Yeah.
Union Edge on the fourth.
Yeah, Union Air Jordan 4 in
We
the
know
top
your shoes
haze.
better than you.
Appreciate it. Union Air Jordan 4 in the top haze colorway.
Cool.
Ish.
I'm wearing a custom actually. I made these
It's only right.
as of recent. This is actually my most recent pair.
Okay.
Besides the LSS pair that I've been making those for a bit now. But yeah, this is like a style that I've been practicing and stuff. Like, just ish dunk. It's an ish dunk.
That's what you're gonna call it. Ish
Yeah,
dunk.
it's an ish.
Calm.
Dunkish.
Dunk it. Oh,
That's
Dunk
the name of
it.
the title. We got the title.
Yeah.
Yes! Yes!
Yeah, Jase, what are you going for?
So I'm wearing our shoe, the LSS Oxford, we've called it, and this is a shoe that we're going to come out with. We're calling it like the tutorial shoe.
Okay.
So it's like it's a learning tool. It's going to be open source. I'm sure we'll talk about it a bit more.
Most definitely.
She actually made these for my birthday.
Yeah.
So that was very
Bro's
nice.
birthday gift, man.
Yeah.
He's got one shoe that he sketched it out
Mm.
on his birthday. He had it like holding his hands. Yeah,
Man.
that was nice stuff.
Yeah. So yeah.
This is great. So guys, when are we gonna do birthday presents?
That, I can't lie. I did not see that coming.
What?
That's the question.
Oh, when's your birthday?
Well, my birthday's gone.
Yeah, his was the first one.
But it's okay. We'll skip whatever comes next and then start from next year.
He said whatever comes next, like it's not just
It's
me.
you.
Why did you start with me? How about that?
That's crazy.
We'll put it into the pipeline. Maybe we'll start with Christmas presents. Baby steps.
Yeah.
Say that. But yeah, on
We got
foot for
offers
me,
there.
I have my beaters basically from last year. I have the Air Jordan 3 reimagined.
My man said beaters, you know.
I wear them so much, they might as well be beaters.
Nah, they look nice still. They
Yeah.
still look fresh. Keep them nice, good condition.
Yeah.
Age well.
Shout out to
Speaking-
Jason Mark.
Speaking of silhouettes and shoes, wait, what? What did you say?
He said I keep them nice and fresh. Shout out Jason Mark.
Oh yeah, bro's got a 1, 2 scrubby scrubs.
Hey, man, so you're right.
Speaking of silhouettes, what silhouettes do you guys do in terms of like? Because I'm seeing a Jordan. Wow, a very illustrious Jordan 1.
That's
The
it.
last year.
Jordan 1 S.
Yes.
Jordan 1 ish.
So we do we do Jordan 1s, highs, lows, Travis Scott's, Dunks, we do Air Max 1s, we do 97s. We can make any shoe actually. We reverse engineer the patterns ourselves because there's a bit of translation from what you buy in store. Like we take it apart, we reverse engineer the patterns, but our process is a bit different. So we hand last, so there's a bit of a translation, but What else do we do? What have I forgotten?
Air Force.
The patterns, MS1 patterns.
Yeah, patterns, patterns.
So
Air Force as well.
yeah, so in terms of obviously we know that you do courses. Is it for specific silhouettes or how does it work in terms of getting onto a course here?
So like from when I joined and from when they started, I think the courses used to be dedicated to just the one silhouette. Everyone's doing the same thing. Over the time, we've kind of got it down to we're able to basically just fulfill whatever the person wants to do in the one course, and we can do more than one silhouette within the same week. Okay. So we kind of just got a bit more playbooks down and got ways of doing things that just works for anyone that wants to do. Someone's doing the Air Max, you can see how the next person's doing the dunk, all within the same week, same course. So kind of gives you the teaching of the whole thing, basically.
Because obviously I know like right now the Samba and those Adidas type of silhouette, the Campus, those are in right now. So I'm guessing those are also shoes that you offer, or is it like a specific range that you have?
I mean, we can do those, and we should do an update and get those involved. Really, like when we're doing the course, we often tell students that our goal is, as teachers over the 5 days, is to give you like transferable shoemaking skills. So like obviously people come and they pick their favorite shoe, but really if it's a Dunk or a Jordan 1, it's like, you know, it is different, but what you're going to learn, our goal is to make sure you go on and continue making what you want. So if you come away from our course, and a lot of people do this, you'll go and make a Samba or whatever shoe you want. I mean, if we did a Samba, that'd be a quicker course. It's a simpler shoe. And actually, if you look at a Samba, it's very lightweight. Like it's actually like, yeah, I mean, it's an old shoe. But compared to like the Dunk and Jordan 1, the simplicity of it is
they're a bit more intricate. Yeah.
So that kind of ties into like the whole thought process for the LSS shoe, in a sense where you're teaching people transferable skills.
Yeah.
So what was the inspiration for putting out your own shoe one and making it open source?
Yeah. Let me grab it. This is it. Yeah. Haven't seen. So it's funny you mentioned the Samba, because actually we based it off a similar silhouette, which is the Cortez. It's the same construction. We played off this idea that when Nike started, they stole the Onitsuka Tiger. They stole that shape. So we stole the Cortez, and this is the Cortez last, and it's where we're starting. And you'll notice like the Vampire is very much like Samba-esque, and the shape is a Cortez. And really our goal was, when we were designing this, is for it to be a shoe that if you want to start your own footwear brand and you want to start your own shoe, this is basically a blank. Do you know what I mean? So if you remove this L here, it's a blank, and it will teach you the Oxford construction. So in shoemaking, there's usually either a Derby or Oxford construction. So the Dunk is a Derby, this is Oxford, and that involves how you close the upper and how the tongue is attached. But yeah, these patterns are going to be free to download, and we call it open source shoe. So if you don't know what that means, open source is like, it's free to download and for you to do what you want with it. Like, and also it's a product we want to go to retail with as a shoe and sell it, and it'll be one of many. So our next shoe after this will be a Derby construction, and that'll teach you how to do that. So we want to become a shoe brand in that sense, but education is always sort of the driver. Keep it.
I've noticed that with a lot of brands nowadays, a lot of people are doing clothing, but there's only a handful doing shoes. What makes shoes so difficult?
Yeah, they're a tough product. It's expensive. I mean, if you think about a shoe, it's soft and it's hard. It's like a piece of hardware, and it's also like a bag in a way. So you know, the tooling to make an outsole is expensive compared to screen printed t-shirt, which is what you do if you start a streetwear brand. The minimum orders from the shoe business is a volumes game. So most factories are set up for like quite large orders. So you know, really, if you're starting a brand, you're looking at like 50k really in terms of when you get through it all. Do you know what I mean? Like, you can probably get it lower, but this is why we started this, because you know, we're all here because we have a passion for shoes. I'm sure we've all dreamt about having a shoe company. And actually, if you don't have that money sitting there, which is most people don't, shoemaking is a way to get into that, because you can start making one, you can start giving that out. Do you know what I mean? You can start doing it in a lot more leaner way, sort of thing.
For me, it was I found it, obviously I didn't know that you you basically worked at obviously Nike through an agency. But what made you leave Nike in terms of?
I mean, it was a freelance job, so I've always actually been freelance my whole design career. And I started as a footwear designer, and actually it's been a long career, quite random, but it's always been around design. So footwear design, branding, then working in tech, doing a bit of coding, a bit of designing. It's been all over the shop. Yeah, all over the shop. Record labels, that sort of thing.
So in the studio?
Huh?
Were you in the studio?
With the music?
Yeah, it's record labels.
Yeah,
doing the 16.
Yeah. Just a little one.
Where's that tape?
Let me hear that.
I don't know why you weren't playing it earlier.
I thought you never asked.
Video of Jay sitting in a car with his phone out, spitting a 60.
Car bars.
By the River Thames.
This one.
Misunderstood.
There's someone on GRM sitting.
You ready?
One day. No, that's plan B. If this don't work out.
It gonna work, man.
But no, it's really design, unfortunately.
Yeah.
What difference did you see from working at Nike compared to, like, when I say difference, like, what's the difference in working at such a corporation to obviously you working by yourself in your own company, in your own setting?
Well, the agency, it was an ad agency, so it's really interesting to see that, because, you know, this is an agency. Remember the London ads? Skepta was in it. Like, they really shape how, like, London, like, Nike's adverts obviously are amazing.
Yeah.
And it's interesting to see how that process works on the inside. I've always been, like, you know, freelance and independent in what I do creatively, and, you know, made sacrifices to do that as well. And yeah, that's why we started London Secret School, because we just wanted to do it on our own terms. So yeah, it's an American brand, and yeah, I don't know, it's interesting being on the inside. But yeah, that's why we started.
I guess, like, because you were working as a freelance footwear designer, can you say what projects you might have worked on in the past?
So that was at the start of my career when I came out of uni, and it was right at the beginning as a junior designer. So I worked at Salomon and Pentland. If you don't know, Pentland own a lot of the licenses for a lot of brands like Kickers, Speedo.
Okay.
I did, actually, it's one of my favorite projects I did. I did it as an intern, and the shoe is still sold today. And I was very lucky to be given a shoe that went to production, and it's called the Speedo Zampa. You get on Amazon for like £15. It's just, do you know what? It's actually, this wasn't my credit because I didn't come with the concept, but it's a bit like a Yeezy foam runner. It's just like one mold, but it's rubber. So like people wear it when they're at the beach, like Rockland and that sort of stuff. Yeah, and that was kind of a cool project. Like,
so I was gonna ask, like, obviously working in footwear design at such an early time of your career, there must be so many things that you worked on that unfortunately didn't see the light of day.
Oh yeah, like most of it. Yeah.
So like, how did obviously it's a very early time, and coming to now where you have the power essentially in your hands to produce what you want to produce. How did that feel back then, and how do you feel about, like, it now?
Yeah, do you know what? It's funny you say that, because I was doing footwear and I actually got bored of it real quick. And this explains a lot about me, but I got bored of it because it was so slow and so much didn't happen. And actually where I went from that was in tech, in software, because in that world, you come up with a design, you can put it live the same day. And you can put it to an audience and you can see the result. And I just found that quite addictive as someone doing design and putting it out there. So footwear is very slow. Fashion is slow. Fashion designers, footwear designers, they're working 2 years ahead, seasons ahead. So it's just slow. And I actually stepped away from footwear for years, kind of for that reason.
Yeah, because you don't even get the opportunity to see if people like it. Like,
yeah, not really. Yeah.
You make a shoe, for example, and let's say you're privileged enough to see it go to production. It gets made, and then you're like, oh, what? I still got to wait 18 months for it to drop worldwide. And then you're seeing people's opinions 2 years later. By then, you've probably left the job, got another job, and another one after that. And now you're just seeing people reacting like, well, you actually like that? Oh, maybe I should have made more.
You know, for me, even though I'm not a footwear designer, but I feel like it's worse when it's then attached to like as a collaboration. So now you've put the work in, it's been like 2 years, you've left it, you may have left the job, and now that they've put the product out, people have given it reception, and it's under some next man's name.
That must be right, this.
Bro,
I cannot imagine what that would be like.
bro, in my head is hot.
No, you won't get credited at all.
That's the problem.
Yeah,
when,
that's the
when I
thing.
first started in design, people would be like, "Oh, do you not get like paid when that's shoe soles?" I was like, "No, this is a job.
Yeah.
Like, this is like the,
They pay you hourly to
Yeah.
produce those kind of
yeah,
ideas.
yeah.
And that's one of the things that designers not being credited or not being highlighted for the work they do is one of the things we want to tackle as the stockroom, like shining light on color designers, like designers,
Footwear designers.
yeah, footwear.
Even in terms of
Everyone in
marketing
the
as well, and
space.
that rollout, like,
Yeah.
there are people that act in certain parts of the business that we don't necessarily see, but if they don't do their job, the brand would feel it.
yeah,
And it's like, why don't we hear from them?
yeah, yeah.
Why aren't they allowed to speak? And yes, cool, NDAs and stuff exist, and that's fair enough. But at some point, you have to pause for a second and be like, you know what? That creative agency, or that marketing agency, or that individual that's head of marketing really helped shift the culture. Like, for example, when we did the episode about Joe Grundon, when he left New Balance to go to Eman and Michael, and like, we had to research and see all the work he's done.
Yeah.
And he was basically responsible for pulling in a lot of the collaborators and creating that family dynamic in New Balance that exists today, which has helped further their culture so far. But if you don't do the research and speak about these guys actively, you'll never know.
Yeah, yeah.
So, yeah.
That's true, so.
No, it's true. It's true.
I wanted to quickly go back onto LSS as a whole and talk about some of the projects that you guys have done. I don't know if you want to get into some of them, and probably what's your favourite project?
Yeah, okay. Do you want to tell them about the ultras? We're working on it today.
Oh yeah, so right now we're doing a project with Monster, project with Ultra, Monster Ultra. They brought out a few athletes that are sponsored by them, that under their name. A variety of them within skateboarders to skiers.
Had a couple BMXs.
BMXs.
Got that.
Dirt bikers.
Yeah.
They had the wavy,
Yeah.
wavy people that just do the stunts and stuff.
Yeah.
Quite a mix.
There was a good mix. There was also Monster Girl. Yeah, it was actually good. So that project, we're making them a LSS shoe. So they got to come to the workshop, spend
That specific one.
yeah, this exact one. So let me hold it for a second. So yeah, they made this exact shoe. They made this exact shoe. They got to obviously customize 2 pieces of the shoe.
Okay.
Essentially, when I say 2, is the quarter and the back quarter. But it would be 4 in it, because think of it, when you're doing shoes, you never
On both
just one.
sides,
So it'll be
exactly,
both sides.
yeah.
So they got 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
And then 1, 2, 3, 4.
Makes sense.
And they got to obviously get creative. We showed them ways of like dyeing. So they got like a dyeing and a patina style.
Okay.
You guys will do some research on that. You hear about it. So everyone got to do. They got themselves in the shoe.
Right.
And now we're basically this week we've been putting it together. So just assembling the shoe. Drop off soon. Deadline soon. So yeah, I think they're gonna enjoy it for sure.
Yeah.
Fair.
It's coming out nice though.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, it was a
stuff
milestone for us because, like, Monster, like, I rated this. They asked to do the LSS shoe. We could have done these. And they went for this, and we haven't really launched this properly. We haven't
Yeah,
pushed
exactly.
it. We're
There's
setting
been
it all
no
up.
launch.
Like, it's kind of a soft launch, like you can see it now. But yeah, that felt like, okay, this is the right direction for us. So yeah, it was a good milestone.
Yeah, but I don't think that's my favorite though.
What's your favourite?
Like that's what's going on right now. I feel like my favorite
Favorite project.
or good project that I actually enjoyed, not so much on the making, on the customizing, just as a brand, is like MotoGP.
Oh, okay.
I feel like MotoGP was a cool project. Like it's
That's
like
about-
11
yeah,
players.
That's about it. What
I
is
got
that?
a better one than that. But go on.
But
That was
nice.
good. That was
That
good.
was sick.
I got
Not
funny
my
one.
favorite. There's a
Ah,
few more in
you
it.
crumbled, you
But
crumbled.
Nah.
You crumbled.
Nah, because how he said that, I know
You
exactly
crumbled.
what he's talking
No,
about.
no.
Tell them, because
Tell us what Moto
Yeah,
GP.
let's start with that.
Like MotoGP, so it happened the same time we was in Savile Row and at a pop-up. So we was there, imagine us in Savile Row, dyeing shoes in the middle of the road. Like these people are going to work. You know Savile Row, Mayfair, Uptown. Everyone's dressed up, going to work. Just this guy's pop-up still here type thing. Like literally, that's the looks we're getting in it. But at this time, we're doing something big.
Yeah.
So we've got like all the projects on the wall, so people that are walking in, they can see exactly what's going on. We also as soon as we dyed it, they had to dry.
Yeah, of course.
God gave us sun that week, so
Right.
as soon as we dyed it, the shoes are all outside.
Yeah.
There's a rack of shoes, like 11 pairs, so that's 22 shoes just on the pavement drying. So people are asking questions, people are seeing it, and that was just the beginning of it. We got to do some airbrushing to it. We added our own style to it. We kind of tied it in as like a collection. I really enjoyed it. Like, it was good. Monster came. They had their people to like take some nice film. Like, yeah, I really enjoyed that
then we
project.
went out.
And then we got to go and deliver it. So, we got flown to Barca for the actual event.
Cold.
We got taken care of. Like, it was actually sick.
I was there for some of the motorbikers at the
Yeah,
race.
Yeah,
so
it was like 10 of them.
so it was 10 of the riders, and the shoes were all in relation to their bikes. Or Jase got to meet them basically, and that is either the helmet or they were saying, I got this dog with this name, my number is this, like yeah. So we got to go a bit deep into the shoes. Like that was actually sick as a team project. But there's some better ones. There's some better ones.
Jase, what's your favorite one?
Do you know what? That was a better project, but this was a funnier one, which was the speed.
Yeah, speed's was funny.
Because
That was
speed
only
obviously
good.
is funny.
That was a big moment as well.
And the story behind it was kind of crazy because that was with KICKGAME, and they asked us to do this, and I was like, oh my god, like this is gonna be difficult. We actually only had one pair. They gave us one
pair.
So
No
we had
trial, no?
one chance. Yeah, we didn't
No
even
chance.
we didn't even do a prototype.
This is it.
You better not mess up.
We did. Yeah. But so we made it. We basically like cut the foam runner apart, like sanded it down, just made like a cage and wrapped the football boot, glued it in.
Some paint job.
Yeah. There was some painting, some touch-ups. Then it was for speed, so they went and gifted it to him. And then it was for the charity football match. And then it got stolen.
Yeah,
like,
I saw
like
that.
Isaac, like a YouTuber, man like Isaac. He's
He stole it.
Another one. Yeah, he robbed
I
it.
know Isaac. Shout out Isaac.
Stole it.
And he's gonna hate that I brought it up because everyone was hating on him so hard.
Damn.
But obviously he's just doing it for the YouTube. Whatever.
Yeah, of course. That's hilarious.
And he gave it back, and it got back. But I mean, I was just laughing. I was like, this
Whole
is-
story around the
I was
company
even
made.
I was
Yeah.
even pissed. I was like,
Quality.
this is just.
This is
I wish, like, obviously we know he's bad at football, but I wish Speed scored. And that's,
No, he didn't wear it. I don't think he was
wasn't
allowed.
allowed.
To wear it.
They didn't allow him to wear it.
Probably not. Like, also, I mean, it is a foam run and he's shit at football, so it'd probably be
That could have been.
it'd
You
probably
know
be-
what? Recently, I've been seeing more videos of him, and it seems like he was acting. I feel like he's better at sport than he gave off in the first.
Now, if you're saying the reason, he's been practicing.
He might have been practicing.
He's good at sport. There's
He's
difference
good at
between sports.
Yeah.
He's a
Yeah.
player.
Yeah.
He's a
True,
player.
true,
He's
true,
a
true.
player.
He's a player.
I'll give it to him. He's a player.
Yeah.
He's the
I
guy
can
that
just stand there and do the 1, 2.
yeah.
Yeah.
The Nunes in behind the ball over the
Oh,
top. That's what he's good
I feel
at.
you.
He's
I
not
feel
actually
you.
technical. He can just. But yeah,
Do the 1-2s.
I think that's one of your more seen / notable projects.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Any other ones that you guys want to talk about and touch on before we move on?
Stretch my memory.
we just made some shoes for a Premier League team.
Okay.
That was cool.
We made a pair. Actually, we delivered it yesterday for Suspect.
Nice.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, cool,
So he
cool.
came down and made him a pair.
Cool.
That was more of just like a private project sort of thing. But
Steps.
What else? Oh yeah,
Steps.
Mid
Yeah.
over steps as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, was it for his show?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
dropped it off at his show.
For his EP release.
For his, yeah, that's pretty cool as well.
Oh,
Yeah,
So
there's a lot going.
A lot of projects. Everything's
Yeah.
just moving on.
Yeah.
Which is
On
good.
the making side, because there's obviously like courses and outbound
course.
stuff outside of
Of
here,
course,
which
of
is
course.
obviously significant to the brand. But it just doesn't come like making the shoes, like
Yeah.
being
Yeah.
there and being able to represent and put out the name sort of thing. Like,
How often
those
do you
sort
guys
of
run your classes?
Yeah.
So it varies, but like monthly, every other month.
Okay.
It's interesting this year. The projects have really taken off. Obviously, we'll never stop the education side. But we are a small team, so it's like when the projects are on, we can't do the courses.
How many of you are there?
There's me, Thomas, Ish, Dylan, and we get people in on projects like when we need to, really.
Like freelancers. Okay.
Yeah.
Makes
Like
sense.
customizers, shoemakers, freelance. What the nicest thing about it is a lot of our students come back and they
help out.
They help out. Yeah, they
Okay.
work on stuff. And
That's real.
they become real. I mean, the dream is to just create that sort of cycle where it's like, okay, someone trains up as shoemaking and then they're working on a project and then maybe they go off and do their own brand and it's like, but this is the sort of cycle we're trying to create.
Makes sense. But what would you guys say is like the difficulties that people don't understand when it comes to making footwear?
You wanna take it?
I thought you were gonna show the heel tap.
I was gonna say that shoe, for example, the sole is probably a bit of a challenge.
Wait, what the difficulties?
Yeah, like what parts we say are like extreme. People
like
don't understand
varies.
the difficulties in it.
Yes, I mean it is a lot of work. Like it's difficult. Like because shoes they're so cheap, really. Like what you can get, but so much work goes into it. I don't think we realize how much work actually goes into these products. And a big part of what we're doing is when you do the course, you realize, and all of a sudden you're more sustainably minded because you see the process. And obviously these companies have got their factories and they're so efficient and they've got it all down. But still, there's so much labor and materials and it's a complicated product.
Yeah, I'd say especially for me, the inside for me is when people come to the course, like everyone's excited, Monday morning, we got lots of sneakers, school. By like lunchtime, people are scratching,
What do people find it hard?
At what point do people eat?
One thing that I'd say is stuff for people for the first time, cutting leather, or just figuring out. Obviously, the classes are small because we want you to be able to have a bit more of the one-on-ones and understand exactly what's taking place. The holding of the blades obviously makes, like, if you hold it at angle, the leather's gonna come out bevel, obviously. And then people, they know they want the shoe to be perfect. Do you know what I mean? So it's not as easy as it sounds or as easy as it looks. But I feel like cutting, and then the other thing I'd say that is hard to get first time, you have to practice it a lot, is lasting, which is giving the shoe shape.
Okay.
So think about it like this: when you finish the shoe, I'm just gonna grab this shoe for example. When you finish the shoe, there's no sole yet because the shoe is all flappy. Like you haven't lasted it. Lasting it is done this way, which is like now pliers and nails tacks
to basically
stretch the leather to the shape of the last in it. Last is this things we got up here.
Okay.
So yeah, that thing is quite difficult. It takes like a lot of mental toughness. Especially some people that are really on it, they will try their best, but it's still, you need to practice it. It's not that straightforward, but it's not impossible, I would say, because most of our students, when they come here, they do everything themselves. Like, it's not like we're there, they're living here with a shoe for sure. No, it's like they do everything up to where they can. As soon as we see something that, like, all right, cool, maybe let me just help him. I'll do one side, look how I'm doing this side so that you can see and do your side, you know what I mean?
Makes sense.
But yeah.
Yeah, by the time the Wednesday comes around, people are a lot more relaxed into it.
Yeah.
Kind of, because the Monday is like a bit overwhelming. But I would say it's the mental toughness bit. It's the mindset, especially if you haven't done anything creative like that. So if you come from the world of fashion, customization, design, you probably know this creative process. But it's almost like it's a craft. So you're always going to be improving. It takes a lifetime. And actually, the way you learn through shoemaking is mistakes. And it's this acceptance that during this process, you're going to make the mistakes and you can't get beat up about that. Because if you do, you got your head down. So I think that's what, like, it really teaches people in those 5 days. It's just like how to have this process where you're learning and staying positive. And each hurdle is just an opportunity to learn and move on to the next one. And sometimes people struggle with that bit more than stitching, more than cutting. You know what I mean? So
it's like problem solving. Like, think about shoemaking as like everything there's a lot of problem solving. This happened. All right, cool. How do I fix this? Because if you don't fix it, just gonna go cut it again. This time you're gonna do it. You're gonna fix it because you don't want that same thing to happen again. You know what I mean? And within the stitching, then you figure out the sewing machine. Or you figure out, all right, cool, maybe if I press a bit less, it's not gonna go that far. Like these things are all relevant, but then for someone that's doing it the first time, that's why the course is again. It's 100 questions.
Actually,
it's too much to take
you have
in.
here to be like, wait, take one step back.
Take a touch.
Take a touch. Just focus on this first bit, and then we'll get over that hurdle. And then let's go one step at a time.
Then one step at a time. But people are thinking, all right, cool, but this colorway, the stitching. What about the stitch color? What about the cutting? Why do you guys do it like this? What if when I go home, can I do it like this? I promise you, but the questions are immense in it, but I'll tell you, my most joyful day for me is Friday when they actually finish the shoe. Like, this is something that I tell everyone as a teacher or like as being a part of LSS, I can tell you that on Friday when people finish the shoot is an emotion that you can't fake, because they've been through the Monday till Friday. Wednesday, I see that their spirits go a bit higher because they're having a bit more belief than they had on Monday. And then on Friday, when they see the shoe like come out of the press, bro, that face, no matter the age, I've worked with, we do courses, I would say, we had kids from the age of 14 to someone that's like 60. Do you know what I mean? And the faces that, like, the face that they make is such a joy that it's like, oh, this person didn't even believe in himself. As soon as that shoe's off the press, hey, let me put this on, let me 1, 2, so you know what I'm saying? That's amazing to see. That's one thing like, I would say is amazing.
Makes sense. On top of that though, what would you say is your favourite part of teaching footwear creation for both of you?
That's a good question. I mean, it's always like what students go on to do, like, and enabling that. You know, lots of people come here wanting to start their own brand, and many have. And you know, we have small classes of like 5 people, and there's always 2, sometimes 3 teachers, so it's near one-on-one learning at times. And you know, we chat to them all the time, and they message us all the time. And I would say it's seeing that. And yeah, again, I think for me, it goes back to the mindset thing. It's teaching people about that mindset, because that is actually something you can apply to anything. Do you know what I mean? Just like that creative mindset, and also just how to go through that process and trusting that process and keeping a beginner's mindset. Do you know what I mean? Like, you're always like today we how many shoes we're making today, but we learn endless things. And we've been doing this for a while. So yeah, it's just,
there's always a quicker way, there's always a nicer way, there's always something that facilitates the next step. Do you know what I mean? Alright, cool, next time let's just have everything prepped. So when you get to that stage, regardless of anything, is done. Do you know what I mean?
And just staying calm in the whole thing.
Because
that's always going.
So easy to get stressed.
That's
because like each step, like you said, sets up the next one. So if you accidentally miss out a step, maybe you go on lunch, you come back and like, oh, let me keep moving. It's like, wait, I didn't do that.
I didn't do that bit.
Now you gotta go back, and it's like, damn.
Literally. I'll say for me, within the teaching, is like, I feel like stitching, because people don't really believe they can stitch. Half of the time, that's the first thing I'll hear. Like, Ish, I can't stitch. No, I've never done this before. But I didn't learn how to stitch until we use post bed machines in it, which is for people that don't know. Usually sewing machines are like flat beds where you just fit it in. Our ones, as you can see there, it's like it's got a wheel and it's got a post.
Okay.
So that's why it's called a post bed machine. I learned on that, so that's kind of what I practiced until I actually understood. Is that bit, and I'd say soling. When you start and when you put it, like, you've lasted it, you've done all the hard bit, and now it's still a hard bit because there's a lot of room to go wrong. Like, think about like this, the sole and the upper, if like once you add the glue, you misplace a little bit, the shoe's not looking the same. Do you know what I mean? It's possible to be fixed, which is again problem solving. Like you've done a few times.
At the moment you're like,
oh, headache. How did
and you're looking at it, and the thing is, you even shook the towel because it's like, I don't think I can fix this. It's like, this is glue. Like, how do you undo glue?
Once the glue is in still.
But I think like one thing that I'm picking up from you guys is, I think people underestimate how difficult it is to make a shoe, and that's partially comes from the fact that a lot of shoes you buy are so mass produced. Like, we're used to hearing, for example, even in the art space, when it comes to like buying shoes and whatever, in the pandemic, resale accounts will post, 500,000 of this shoe will be produced. And you're like, 500,000? Okay, cool. 18-month wait. Couldn't be that hard. Until you're in the studio, holding the crepe that you're making, and you're like, broski, this might not be easy. And obviously, like, you think of like the whole mass production process and how they go around things, and that's not what you're doing. You guys are literally making a crepe at a time. And you're making 2 shoes. So once shoe 1 is done, job's not finished. You go again. Or you go at the same time.
At the same time. Eventually, you do want to do it at the same time, especially step by step, so you can try to make it look the same. As much as possible. Because then as soon as you see one thing, I'm like, yeah, bro, this stitch is cool, but this one, leave it still. That don't happen to me no more though. That don't really much no more still.
I'm going flex on the one time.
It took me some time. I got the thing now still.
So do you guys feel like, I would like to say, well, empathetic towards like, obviously now, let's say a Jordan 4's come out and there's like glue problems, or there's like, you know, you see those horror stories of people get like, I saw like an upside down Jumpman or stuff like that. Do you guys like feel empathetic towards them, or do you feel like because you've done it, it's like, no, that shouldn't be that harsh?
Yeah, massively. I mean, there is a quality level and a quality assurance sort of thing, but yeah, like, I mean, this is where it gets into the kind of controversy of it all, and how the shoes are made, and not so much the conditions, because that's improved, but like someone just doing that job all day. Like here one person makes the whole thing, but in industry and factories, one person stitches the marker
whole day.
All day. The next person does the lasting, for example.
Yeah. And there isn't really any way around that for the amount of consumption that happens, the amount of shoes that are made, unless it goes like, you know, we're using machines to make shoes like cars are. But yeah, I can empathize. I mean, and I know why people, you know, especially if you're getting a pair that is like you can't buy it again. Yeah. And it comes like that, you're going to be pissed as well because of the scarcity of it. So I get it on both sides, but it's like, yeah.
I definitely got closer eye to that, because you know, before we actually make the shoe, we have to take it apart. So I get a closer look at everything. So bro, over the years, I noticed the difference in materials that they used to use to what they use now. The glues, the stitches, man, see lock stitches that I shouldn't be seeing this on here. Like, do you know what I'm saying? Like, just my eye to detail is a bit different now. Especially since I started making. I work so close with the product that everyone likes. Like, this is the day to day we see a stitch. Day to day we see what a cut is meant to look like. Bro, why am I seeing an allowance still on show? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, man, I actually spend my 120. Yeah. My 120 for this Jordan 1 low, you're telling me, bro, I can see the glue there. You're boying me, man. You're boying me, do you know what I mean? Yeah, no, but like, some people just, it's calm, like, oh yeah, it's the color way I want it. Yeah, it's different for everyone, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Also, I'd say the other thing you don't see as well, that I've appreciated taking shoes apart, is that, you know, these are $1 billion companies, and they've been around for a long time, and their factory processes that they've got them down to a T, and they've got the cost of that shoe down so much, because it's all about these small margins for these companies and how they make money. And when you see it, and it's just like, damn, like they'll have 5 layers of certain materials, and they're just like saving some money here by cutting the material that way. And it is genius in that sense. It's just very different to how we're doing it, because obviously we have the luxury of time, and it's one person making it, it's more craft focused. But yeah, you really appreciate the sort of like years and decades of work.
Absolutely. Don't take it away from them, because like for them to figure out that, all right, cool, maybe if you use less material here, you save on that. That's therefore a big thing, especially within like the factory world. For sure,
makes sense. So when it comes to like deconstructing a shoe, is there a process you guys use to like understand how to then reconstruct it and implement it into a teaching? So let's say, for example, you're going to implement a new silhouette, like a 991 or a Samba, for example. I like Samba, you kind of made it seem like Samba was kind of simple.
I mean, it's not even simple, it's quite similar to what they've worked on before.
So if we look at like a 991, for example.
Or even like, I don't know, like a Shock.
Well, that's the thing. So the first thing, it needs to be a shoe from a certain era, usually before the 90s, because those are mostly leather shoes. So when you get into the 90s, plastics are starting to use a lot more, and obviously we can't create that, and we don't really want to.
Jump on a 3D printer.
So so it has to be a shoe from a certain era, because they're made in a way that we make them. It's a lot closer. So yeah, Shocks. I mean, maybe there's certain Shocks we could do. But yeah, the first thing is we take it apart. We take the sole off. We get all the upper pieces. We basically, not to get too involved in the process, but like it's like we're making a new pattern from scratch.
So you just reverse engineer it?
We just reverse engineer it, and we just try and get, there's lots of mock-ups, lots of trial and error, try and get as close as possible. We have a last maker, these are last up here, I don't know if you can see them. We have a last maker in Northampton who'll make the last. And that's the process. It's quite a long one, and it's kind of never ending. We're always updating our plans. We see like little changes.
How does, because obviously this seems like a very offline focused thing.
Yeah.
So this might seem like a silly question, but how often do you guys have to refer to like technology for assistance in terms of like drawing, like mock-ups, for example, or is that something you do? You just draw by hand?
I mean, I'm a big sketcher by hand. That's kind of how I got taught.
Are you good at drawing?
I mean, I'm alright.
Man's on the side.
Hey man.
No, because some people are like, okay, cool.
I'm good at drawing shoes.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh.
I can't draw. Like I can draw shoes because I've just drawn shoes since I was like a teenager.
Right.
And I've just done that for a long time, but I can't.
Couldn't we do like a young Mona Lisa or something?
Nah. I'll give it a go.
Because a lot of people say, oh yeah,
No,
but I'm not good at drawing.
You know that TikTok challenge where couples draw each other. They'll be like, I'm not gonna draw and they'll turn it around. It's just a masterpiece. Like, well, you're good enough.
Just as good at drawing, guys.
Yeah. But I'm using technology all the time. Like I'm using AI.
Nice.
Like AI is changing design completely. We're actually going to come out with an online course as to how you can. So the cool thing about AI right now, you might not be the best drawer. So as a designer, it's all about like persuading people with your ideas, and you have to communicate that in the best way. That's why you have to come up with a nice render, a nice drawing. But with AI, like you can just put a line drawing in, it will render it for you, and all of a sudden you don't need to be the best artist. Do you know what I mean? Like you can come up with designs. And you know, I embrace that. Like a lot of designers are like, it's going to steal our jobs. I just think it's going to make my job easier. Like, and I can do stuff doing my time doing other stuff. So yeah, technology. We use some like pattern software, Adobe Illustrator, all that stuff. But it's still very hands-on.
I think it depends on what side of the spectrum you're on in terms of the fact that you guys oversee the full process.
Yeah.
So you'd love something to make it easier for you.
Yeah.
Whereas when you're working for like, for example, a brand and you're like a cog in a system, and all of a sudden now your cog could just get taken by a computer and there's nothing else for you to do. It's like,
well, did you see Nike's AI model that they just did?
Yeah.
LLM.
Yeah.
I don't fully agree with that.
Go on.
Because from using AI myself, AI is only as good as the prompts you give it.
Yeah.
So if me in like just a businessman, for example, just give it a prompt of, oh yeah, I want to shoot like this, and it's like there's no design, there's no actual design language put behind it. There's no time and effort that's kind of like building blocks for being a designer that you need to create a shoe. If I can't then put that into the prompt for the AI I'm going to use to render it, then it's like I'm just going to be making shit product. And if you start cutting out jobs of people that know what they're doing and know what prompts to give, then you're going to start seeing sales drop because you're just dropping shit. Like,
well, it is at the end of the day.
Rubbish.
But in the same vein, like where you have people trying to quote unquote cut corners and save money and cut costs, they could engage in that, not because it's a good thing for them, but because it will answer questions to a degree. And once they learn that, oh, these are the prompts you have to use and this is the way you type, see ya! Like, like, do you know what I'm saying?
yeah, but it's like you're only, as I said, you're only as good as the prompts you give. So even if you, so if I learn what, if I learn what
you have to understand what it is
to give, like cool, I can then create something. But in the next 18 months, when fashion changes, I need to now learn new prompts to follow the new trend. Like, and I'm not a designer. I don't know what to say. I don't know the different types of midsoles in the first place. It's like, bro, like, you're going to become obsolete again, and you're going to need to start rehiring.
And then the price is up.